Hi, this is James. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you could be here with us. Running a little late tonight. I had to charge the new microphone, so just glad to have a wireless mic that works. And thank you to the good people at T-Mobile for fixing it so that when I attached the microphone, it would actually work. We got some kind of software updated a month or so ago, and I haven't been able to use any microphone of any kind. So today we're going to talk Matthew 23. We're going to cover verses 25 and go all the way to verse 36. So here we go. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you clean the outside of the cup and the plate, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup and the plate, that the outside may also may be clean. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly appear beautiful, but within are full of dead people's bones and all uncleanness. So you also outwardly appear righteous to others, but within you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you build the tombs of the prophets and decorate the monuments of the righteous, saying, if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would not have taken part with them in the shedding of the blood of the prophets. Thus you witness against yourselves that you are the sons of those who murdered the prophets. Fill up then the measure of your fathers. You serpents, you brood of vipers, how are you to escape being sentenced to hell? Therefore I send you prophets and wise men and scribes, some of whom you will kill and crucify, and some you will flog in your synagogues and persecute from town to town, so that on you may come all the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of righteous Abel to the blood of Zechariah the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. Truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. Okay. So we got a lot to cover here. There's three main points. Point number one, and it mainly deals with verses 25 and 26. God cares more about the inside. I actually wrote it wrong in my notes. That's funny. I actually wrote God cares more about the outside. No, that's wrong. God cares more about the inside, what's going on in your heart. Remember, Jesus told them that from the inside comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery. Those things come from within. I think today's society is basically backwards. They care about the glitz and the glamour and what you look like on the outside. And, to be honest, I'm 50 years old, or I'll be 50 next year. I don't care as much about that stuff anymore. I really don't. I mean, I would love to get to 100 subscribers, and I pray that that'll happen soon. Heck, I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers so I could be monetized. And we can use that money to, God willing, set up a travel fund, and I'll be able to travel and teach the Bible. I've been very fortunate that I've been able to go to. I've preached in 6 states so far. God willing, I'll get to go to the other 44. But I think a lot of the reason why some people chose not to subscribe, they may have looked at a video or two and then they moved on, is because this isn't a high budget. This isn't a big production. I don't have a whole lot of. I'm still learning how to edit videos. Basically, this is me and the Bible. And I don't plan on trying to make it too much fancier than that. The more I learn about how to edit videos, I will try to make the quality better. Of course, I did some in 4K, and to be honest, the 1080p ones are just fine. And if you do the videos in 4K, it makes the files just enormous. I say all that because I don't care about how this looks. What I care about is trying to inspire people to read the Word. This book right here, this is what's going to help you grow in your faith. Now, I became a Christian 30 years ago. This is what's helped me to grow in my faith. Nothing else. I mean, obviously going to church and hearing preaching, good, solid preaching. I go to, right now I'm part of Grace Bible Church in Killeen. I get expository preaching every week. Why? Because they want to read in the Bible, and they're doing a series on Proverbs. So if you focus too much on the outside, what you look like, and you don't care about what's going on in here, you're missing the point. So, point number 2. God knows the ones who are hypocrites. Now, I've been somewhat critical of televangelists, and I also made the point last week that, the only one that really knows their heart is God. So, in fact, Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 7:16, by their fruits you will recognize them. Some ministries are very generous, and they give Bibles away and books to prison ministries and to other hospital chaplaincies. And yet, on the other hand, you've got some people that are talking about how they need a jet to go share the gospel. And it's just like, by their fruit, you'll recognize them. And God knows who are hypocrites and who are not. The fact that I have 95 to 100 subscribers does not reflect the fact that I am daily wanting to strive and be more like Jesus. It doesn't reflect that. It's just, I've only done a couple hundred videos. They say on experts say on YouTube that you got to do at least 1,000 videos to really hit it big. So my concern and my frustration is the fact that some of these people really are, I'll say it like this: in the parable of the soils, where Jesus is, he's talking about a guy who's sowing seed. Some people call it the parable of the sower. And there's good soil, and then there's rocky soil, and then there's soil where there's thorns, and it says the plant grows up, but the thorns choke it. And Jesus says in his response to his disciples, he's like, "Can you explain this to us?" And he tells them that particular plant is like a person who is distracted by the cares of the world. And I think what happens a lot of times with these televangelists is they start off with good intentions. They start off wanting to share the gospel around the world, and then they get successful, and they get distracted by the houses and the cars and the jets and other stuff, and they forget why they're doing what they're doing. I'm frustrated with all of this because of the fact that I have a small platform, and I feel like I'm doing this for the right reason, which is to proclaim the truth. This has to be on the internet. We have to tell biblical truth. We have to stand up for what is right. And if we don't, the internet will be just filled with junk. I am bound and determined more than ever to put good, solid biblical content on the internet. That's my goal. All right. Now, verses 29 through 36, I'm just going to call this point, this generation. Now, what do I mean by that? When you read a text, you have to ask yourself two important questions. Number one, is this text about all people everywhere? Or two, is this specific to this group of people? Now, go back to the text. The world? All right. Go back to the text. He talks about the tombs of the prophets, and if we had lived in the days of our fathers, we would have now taken part with them shedding the blood of the prophets. Thus you witness against yourselves that you are the sons of those who murdered the prophets. I don't think this passage is talking about everybody everywhere. Jesus is specifically rebuking the Jewish people in Jerusalem at that time, because God did send them multiple prophets telling them to turn from their sin and turn to Him. And one of the things that Isaiah, Jeremiah, and others really hammered home was that they failed to take care of the widows and orphans. I could do a whole video on just that. I mean, they failed to take care of the poor. And it says in verse 36, I think it really sums it up. He says, truly I say to you, all these things will come upon this generation. Now, are there things in this passage that we can learn from? Absolutely, of course. If you look at verse 33, it says, you serpents, you brood of vipers, are you to escape being sentenced to hell? Now, it cross-references verse 15 of the same chapter. But Jesus, how do I say this? That verse is important to us because there are a lot of people who want to say that Jesus died for the sins of everybody, so therefore we're all saved. There's universalism, for some crazy reason, is making a comeback between Bishop Carlton Pearson and Rob Bell and others. Universalism is gaining some traction within the Christian church. Jesus was not a universalist. Look at John 10. It clearly says that Jesus died for he is the shepherd, and he lays down his life for the sheep. He's not going to the cross for the sins of everybody, everywhere. I don't have time to go into this, but John 3:16, I know people say, well, it says, but God so loved the world. Look at the context. Jesus is talking to a Jewish Pharisee, Nicodemus, who believes that the Messiah will come and judge the Gentiles. And what he's saying to him is, no, God loves all kinds of people. Anytime you see the word all in the New Testament, look it up. It refers to, in the Greek, all kinds of people. I know this because in Revelation, it's either Revelation 5 or 6, Jesus is there, and the Bible says that people from every tribe, tongue, and nation are there worshiping. So it's not everybody everywhere, it's all kinds of people. So anyway, but you need to ask those two questions to discern when you're reading a biblical passage. Is this about all people everywhere, or is this passage dealing with a specific group of people? And that will help you discern things when you're doing your own personal Bible study. So anyway, we'll do. I will do a video on Thursday before I leave. I'm going up to Missouri. I'm going to go through Oklahoma. I want to go see my kids. I have 3 grown kids. They all live in Oklahoma. I'm going to go see them. Go see my wife. Yes, I'm a geographical bachelor right now, and I don't like it. But stuff happened, and I don't really have a whole lot of time to talk about it. Just please pray for me, because it's a long story, but I just don't like being separated from her. But anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate everyone who is a subscriber. If you're new, please hit like and subscribe. And I will see you on Thursday.